Hi, I'm Ian Nethercott, Supply Chain Director at ProBrand. So this week I wanted to talk about the dark side of procurement. This is really namely the grey and the broker market. I thought this was quite fitting to talk about right now because I certainly have seen quite a spike in procurement into that grey market due to COVID and all the stock constraints that are generally happening at the moment in the market. So what is the broker market? So the broker market is a non-authorized supply chain route. So essentially, all of the vendors in the supply chain have a set of authorized distributors. So they might have one, they might have four or five. It depends on the vendor who they are, and those authorized distributors are who that vendor has a commercial arrangement with. Those distributors will procure directly from those vendors and stock their product to distribute out into the UK authorized supply chain. So the broker market kind of sits at the side of that, and the brokers out there will procure products from many different supply chain sources, not necessarily direct from the UK arm of that authorised route. So that the stock could be procured from Europe, it could be from further afield. It doesn't come through that authorised supply chain route, so it's very difficult to understand where the root source of that product has come from when you step outside of that supply chain route. So how do you know that you're buying from an authorised source? Because this can be very, very difficult for an IT buyer to understand. There are many different places and websites where you can procure IT equipment from. So if I just frame some of the things to look out for in terms of what does an authorised source look like? So the first one to be aware of is price. So the brokers and grey suppliers, their price will often be quite substantially lower, or can be much lower than the authorised supply chain route. All of the authorised distributors will typically buy at very much the same rate from the vendors, and so when that's passed down across the supply chain, pricing normally levels out very, very even. So if you're following your traditional procurement practice and getting three or four quotes, which I'm sure you are certainly on larger purchases, if you have one of those three or four quotes that tend to be 10, 20% plus lower cost than the other suppliers, that's certainly something to be wary of, and I think probably some extra questions need to be asked there as to why that price is so much lower than the rest of the suppliers. That's one thing to look out for, is definitely around price. Accreditations of your suppliers are really important as well. So you know, if you're not already, look into your supplier, look on their website, look at what partner statuses they are with those vendors, because certainly if they're a reputable partner status with those vendors, then they certainly should be buying through the authorised sources anyway. So it's definitely worth doing the research and ask the questions to your supplier. What accreditations do you hold with said vendor, whoever you're buying. When you're looking on some of the websites as well, and if you see prices that look really good, and the website looks really good, and they look professional, and that's all fine. Just look at the wording around what they call themselves. Look on the About Us page. A lot of brokers call themselves independent distributors. That's definitely a phrase to look out for. So if you see that phrase in the About Us, again, it's one you want to look into a bit further. I can't say that they, definitely are a broker or a non-authorised supplier, but it's just another flag to be wary of. So if you do see that phrase, independent distributor, then maybe ask some extra questions around where the root source of their products are. So what are the problems in buying from a broker? So the first one is that if you're a managed account for a vendor, so if you have a direct account manager at one of the vendors, if you're buying from a non-authorized route, it means that direct account manager won't receive any financial reward from your business. Obviously, they're an account manager; they get paid on the revenue and that you buy. So you're going to very quickly lose support from your direct account managers, so they won't favour you buying from that non-authorised route because it's outside of their scope, it's outside of their radar. So it's not something that you will you'll get benefit from that account manager route. You can certainly have warranty registration problems. So when you buy the product, you take it out of the box, you've got the serial number, you go onto the manufacturer's website, or you maybe walk into one of their service centres and try to register warranty. You may get barriers there because the product has been sourced maybe outside of the UK market, so it might not be eligible for a fully authorised UK warranty. Some of the products as well might be European versions. You might not realise when you're buying them, but certainly when you receive them and you take the product out of the box, it might have a European power cord attached to it. So again, that can cause problems. Some suppliers might ship an additional UK power lead, but again, that's something always to be wary of. If you're getting that, then where's the source of that product? Because it should really come with a genuine UK power cord. And then the other things to consider are really around things like modern slavery practices and things like that, because if you're conforming to those kinds of standards and a specific code of conduct within your procurement practice, if you don't know the legitimate source of where that product has come from, how can you effectively manage things like modern slavery standards and all the relevant legislations that you should be conforming to within your supply chain? So it's other things like that as well that you need to consider. So desperate as you might be for stock at the moment, especially with still COVID stock restriction constraints that we're seeing in the market, as desperate as you might be, you really need to weigh up the risks of what is the most important to you as well. You very much need to be thinking longer term, think about those sustainable procurement practices, and make the right decisions accordingly for your business. But talk to your suppliers, ask the right questions, do your due diligence, and then you should be on the right track. So I hope that was of use, but that's it. Thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe for more insider information. But until next time, thanks guys, and remember to keep haggling.